The Obama administration moving the goalposts. First, the administration set a goal of 7 million ObamaCare enrollees by March 31st. Well, that won't happen.
I think that although, initially we talked about by the end of this period having 7 million people lined up, we may not get to 7, but we're going to get to 5 or 6, and that's a hell of a start.
A hell of a start. That's what the Vice President says. Seems more like a hell of a failure. Join us now, Congressman Peter Roskam. Good evening, sir, and your thoughts about the Vice President's comments. We've now gone from 7 million, we're now down to 5 or 6 million.
Greta, this is so pathetic on so many levels. I hardly know where to start. Look, this is in the context of an administration that promised if you like your doc, you can keep him. If you like your insurance policy, you get to keep it. Healthcare costs per family are going to come down $2,500 a year. The website was going to be fine, and now it turns out that their false claim about 7 million people signed up for Obamacare by March 1st is also not coming to fruition. Here's the bigger point. When it comes down to it, where is this burden going to fall? The burden is going to fall on the rest of us, everybody else who's now cooked into this system, and because they haven't been able to get younger people signing up at a disproportionate rate, they're going to have now more pressure in terms of premiums and more pressure in terms of increased deductibles all the way around. So it's not a surprise to me, but it is so disappointing to see the Vice President of the United States just completely cavalier about falling short yet again.
Well, here's a disturbing piece of information, at least if my numbers are correct, is the Vice President is now saying that they're not going to meet the 7 million target by March 31st of enrollees, that it's going to be 5 or 6 million. Let's assume that it's 5 million, which is the lesser number. I understand that. 5 million people are enrolling by March 31st. Well, that happens to be the number. 5 million people is the number of people who were canceled by their policies, so it's a complete wash if it's only 5 million. If it's 6 million, we're up 1 million. But think of all the hundreds of millions of dollars that are spent, and if we're not even going to get above the threshold, or at least far above the threshold of the cancellation, it makes it even more disappointing.
Well, right. So in other words, what you're doing is the administration is now transferring one group and making it another group's problem. And that was not the way health care was sold by the administration. There's another thing, too, to go a little bit deeper into those numbers. Remember, this is an administration that has very little credibility in terms of the claims it's making. So the term enrollees, that's essentially a term of art. And all it means is somebody's clicked onto a site. It doesn't necessarily mean that they've even paid their first premium. So I think the administration, at best, is now overcharacterizing at that 5 or 6 million figure.
So 5 million people lost their health insurance, but we can't say, even under the Vice President's number of 5 to 6 million enrollees, we can't say 5 or 6 million people have paid, so we may be even in a negative.
Well, and think about this. All of this churn and all of this consternation and this great national debate, for what? What is the net result of it? What great thing has come forward? We've got an economy that is now greatly struggling. We've got the Congressional Budget Office that says it's going to cost 2 million people their jobs. And what does the administration say about all of this? Oh, that this is somehow a great thing, that you get to spend more time with your family. Nonsense. We need an administration that is focused on an expanding economy as opposed to a detracting economy.
Congressman, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Greta.